And in 1982, the cars and the faces have changed. But the quest for the championship is still intense. In 1998, it's down to 2. Matt Kenseth trails Dale Earnhardt Jr. by 102 points. Both men chasing their first championships.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. would like nothing better on this beautiful Saturday afternoon than to clinch that Busch Series title. But with a 102-point lead and 2 races left, he can't do it yet, but he can certainly pad it here today. But all year long, you said, I ain't worried about points. I'm going to race. Points will take care of themselves. What about today, Dale?
Well, what got us here was hard racing. That's what we got to keep doing, I guess. Being consistent, running up to the top 5 and the top 3. Matt Kenseth sure has got nothing to lose. He's going to race hard, so we got to outrun him.
All right, man. Hey, happy Halloween. All right, he starts from 8th. He can certainly be a factor in this race. His closest pursuer, Kenseth, has already had some problems at the Rock. He's standing by with Matt Yoakum.
Glenn Earnhardt's title nemesis, Matt Kenseth, has already felt the wrath of Halloween's ghouls and goblins. A happy hour crash forces Kenseth to a backup car, which means his drive for points and a Rockingham sweep will begin from the 43rd position. Making the sting even worse, he qualified the 17 car on the outside of the front row. Matty, not the kind of luck you need with 3 to go. What's the strategy going to be starting in the back?
Try to get to the front, man. That's about all we can do. Real unfortunate incident yesterday. Had a really good race car and, got wrecked in practice there. So took out the back up here. It's not running too bad, but, it's a big deficit to try to come from 43rd here. But we're going to try to get this Lenko Chevy to the front.
Well, he's already felt a Halloween trick. Now he wants a treat in the form of a victory and the 180 points that will go along with it. Now, here's Larry McReynolds.
Well, thanks, Matt. Even though all the focus is on that championship, how about today's pole sitter, Tony Stewart? Tony's second pole in a row here at Rockingham. You come close to getting that first win here in February. What have you got for these guys today? Can you get that first win today?
I think so. I mean, we tested here a couple weeks ago, and, we didn't even work on race or on qualifying setups. We just worked on the race setup and, tried to make the car really good on a long run, so hopefully we can be there at the end and not let this one slip away like we did this spring race.
Well, Rick, even though everybody's going to be watching that 3 and 17 car, considering these guys tested and worked on race setup, I'm going to be watching this 44 car.
He'll be one to watch today, as will so many others. Welcome to the Sandhills of North Carolina, Rockingham, North Carolina Speedway. Our coverage of the ACDelco 200 today on TNN Motorsports and the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Great to have you with us today. Picture-perfect afternoon for stock car racing, warm temperature, sunny skies, and 2 of the great ones joining us here. 3-time Winston Cup champion Darrell Waltrip, Daytona winner, Hall of Famer Buddy Baker. Darrell, the championship fight, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s got to think he's in tall cotton here with his competitor going to the back of the field.
Well, you would never say, boy, I sure am glad they had trouble in practice. Kenseth had trouble in practice. You'd never say that, but I know that's a huge relief. The thing is, Dale's got to keep his guard up, though. He can't get saying, well, he's so far back I don't have to worry about him, because you've seen, just like I have, from the back to the front happens pretty regular in Busch Grand National Racing. A couple good pit stops, things work out, and he could be right up there challenging for the win. So it ain't over till it's over.
A lot to look at as we watch this race unfold. Buddy Baker, you've been coming here for an awfully long time. There's a lot new at the Rock, but you're saying the track surface is like the old Rockingham again.
Pretty much so. The corners are very abrasive here, and you run so much speed through the corners, it literally wears the tires out. And then you hear guys say, we have to go back to the old, tire management. Darrell, how do you manage tires when you're running nearly wide open all the way around the corner?
Oh, you don't. That's the whole thing. What they're talking about when they say tire management, That's the guy that can manage his cars the best on worn-out tires, because that's what's going to happen here in about 60, 70 laps. And really and truly, you can back off a little bit. You don't want to abuse the tires, but there really is no saving them. If you save them, you're going to fall way back, and you're not going to catch up. The guy's got to go hard, come in, and good pit stop and be right back up front.
As competitive as this one ought to be today, certainly tires will be a factor, but it will be a matter of who gets on the gas the hardest. Let's take you through the starting lineup today. 43 cars ready to go for you here, and we have a gorgeous afternoon. Tony Stewart on the pole in the 44. Matt Kenseth qualified second. He'll have to drop to the back. Second row, Joe Bessie and Mark Martin, who's won here so many times in the NASCAR Busch Series. Third row has Mark Green, his best qualifying effort of the season, and Kevin LePage. Ken Schrader with a rare Busch Series start, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. will line up in the number 8 position today. The fifth row is Buckshot Jones and Jason Keller. In row 6, Robert Presley and Philip Morris, a standout in the NASCAR Winston Racing Series, making his first Busch Series start. David Green and Andy Santerre make up the 7th row. Hank Parker Jr. and Todd Bodine will be in row number 8 here today. The 9th row, Mark Krogh in the 80 car and Jeff Burton in the 9. Elliott Sadler and Dave Blaney will start in the 10th row today. The 11th row, defending series champ Randy LaJoie and his teammate Tim Fedewa. Row 12, Glenn Allen Jr. and young Casey Atwood. The 13th row looks like this: Mike McLaughlin and Kevin Grubb. Bobby Hamilton Jr. makes his first Busch Grand National start alongside Ed Berrier in row 14 today. 15th row is Jeff Purvis, along with Blaze Alexander. Ricky Craven's back in the 2 car. He and Adam Petty will be in the 16th row today. The 17th row, Hermie Sadler and Jeff Krogh. Nathan Butke and Bobby Hillen qualifying in the 18th row. Row 19 has Elton Sawyer and Phil Parsons. Mike Dillon and Curtis Markham starts the 64 car today in the 20th row. Shane Hall, Ashton Lewis, and Patty Moise, the remainder of the starting lineup today. And remember, Matt Kenseth has to line up 43rd once they go through the pace lap. Take a look at our race analysis today. A lot of money up for these drivers. Your AutoZone race analysis, $422,000. The first 43 drivers will go 200 miles. Mark Martin holds the race record here, set 2 falls ago in October of 1996. And that's the mark that Ford has posted. 9 of the last 12 wins here have come from Ford. Take a look at the manufacturer makeup in the starting lineup today. But first, let's show you the drivers who didn't make the show. 55 cars came here to try to make this. Look at the names: Lyndon Amick, former champion Chuck Bound, NASCAR Busch North Star Ted Christopher, among those who didn't get in.
Yeah, and Mike Wallace as well, and Jeff Green. So a lot of great guys did. This is a tight field, a lot of great competition, and you know, it's not an embarrassment to go home anymore, because it happens to everybody.
Unbelievable competition yesterday as these drivers were trying to make the lineup here. Very intense qualifying. Here's how the manufacturer's challenge stacks up in today's Busch Series event. Chevrolet with 22 wins on the season, 32 Chevrolets in the field today, half a dozen Fords, 5 Pontiacs. All 3 brands have won races here in 1998 as the season gets ready to draw to a close. This race, then we go to Atlanta next week, the rescheduled event, and then Homestead to close out the season. And there have been 16 different winners in 28 races in the 1998 season. Shows you just how competitive it is in the Busch Series.
That really does. There's a lot of parity here, just like there is in Winston Cup, probably more, because these guys run such a variance of racetracks. And some of these guys are really good on the short tracks, some are good on the intermediates, and of course the Winston Cup guys are always good on the speedway. So that's where some of that diversity comes from.
You know, the one thing I'm impressed with is how many young, great stars we have coming up in the Busch Grand National Series right now. You have Bobby Hamilton Jr., you have Kyle Petty's son, Adam Petty, you have Dale Earnhardt Jr., you have Tony the Tiger starting out on the pole up there. Kenseth, all these guys. I mean, there's so much talent coming up through this system right now that Winston Cup looks very, very healthy for many days to come.
You know, as I look at the average age of the Winston Cup competitors, it's a good thing, too.
On pit road today, of course. Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, we might need a youth movement, you know.
Hey, you're still youthful. Don't say otherwise. Okay. Quickly to pit road, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, hey, you're talking about all the talent that's coming up. I would like to point out the number 9 car starting on the outside of the 9th row, Jeff Burton, already a proven Winston Cup star. Watch him, guys. He's going to be coming up through the pack. Everybody that I have talked to has said the number 9 car is the car to beat today. He didn't have all that good a qualifying run, but you watch him in the race. Kind of reminds you the way he does in the Winston Cup races. Doesn't qualify that well, always winds up front. Watch Jeff Burton go to the front in the 9 car.
He'll line up on the outside of row 9. Let's take you through our in-car views quickly. Phil Parsons starts 38th today in the Duraloop Chevrolet. Talked to Phil this morning. He is set for 1999, although his sponsorship situation is not yet clear. Buckshot Jones will be giving us some good views today as well. He starts pretty close to the front, 5th row inside. He'll line up 9th in the Alka-Seltzer and Bear Pontiac. Kevin LePage also takes us for a ride. The Channel Lock Chevrolet. He starts very nicely up in 6th today. Shelburne, Vermont, doing double duty this weekend. Interesting story. He's injured.
Yeah.
He's got that stinger, and he's using one of those electric stimulators.
Yeah, I talked to him just before the race. He said if he runs good, he'll stay out there and fight it. But if he starts going backwards, if he gets a lap down, then look for him to have some sort of mechanical problem.
Mark Martin also will give us a view from the Winn-Dixie Ford today, and Mark lines up in 4th spot, and you know his track record of success here at the North Carolina Speedway, especially in the Busch Series. Great to have you with us on a Saturday afternoon. The NASCAR Busch Series at the Rock. The fans are on their feet. Green is in the air, and we are underway. Coming to the line to complete lap number 1. Tony Stewart opens up a 4-car length lead over Mark Martin. Dale Earnhardt Jr. already on the chart.
He is that. He's already in 4th place and moving up on the front 3 there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. definitely picked it up. As you see back in the field, though, these guys are going at it.
Kevin LePage inside Martin to grab 2nd. Doesn't look like it's bothering him any to have that sore arm and shoulder.
No, I think I'll get me one of those. One of those stimulators. That thing looks like it works pretty good.
Told us yesterday he put a fresh battery in at the start, confident it would last the entire 200 miles.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 3rd place now. As we look back, you can see he's really on the charge down the front straightaway here, following Kevin LePage in 2nd place.
Yeah, well, see, buddy, that's what youth calls tire management right there. He's taking care of them tires right now. He's using a heck out of them.
Kevin LePage wants to take care of Tony Stewart as they blow by down the main straightaway. LePage is your new leader.
Now, if there is tire management, you watch the 60 car there, Mark Martin. If anybody understands how to run fast and not use up the tires, it will be Mark Martin.
Yeah, and I talked to Mark, and he drove Jeff Burton's car in practice yesterday. He said Burton's car is incredible. He said it not only is it fast, but it's handling like it's on a string.
Burton taking his time, started back a ways in the field today, back in 18th. He's picking his way up through the traffic as we work lap number 4. LePage is your leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2nd spot. And this is back for 10th position right now. There's Todd Bodine in the 30, Philip Morris in the 84, and Joe Bessie in the 6. Morris qualified 12th in that car. That's a former Dale Earnhardt Jr. machine. There's Andy Santerre getting in the mix, too. Meantime, race for the lead in turn 1.
He wants that 5-point bonus right now. He's working very, very hard. This year alone, Earnhardt has 120 bonus points. Matt Kenseth, 60. Exactly half.
Dale Jr.'s about to maybe pick up a few more, although LePage gets right up there with him, but Dale Jr.'s back in front.
These guys, I've seen this movie before. If you remember Bristol just a couple of months back, they got together and Earnhardt didn't fare too well. LePage got into the left rear quarter of him, got him into the outside wall. This time they did not make contact, but it was very close.
Larry McReynolds on pit road.
Well, you know, Buddy and Darrell, we've talked about tire management, and I know in practice what I hammer on Mike Skinner to do is, even though we may be a little bit slow at the beginning of a run, that will be time that we can make up at the end of a run. If you go out there and try to be the rabbit at the beginning, you're probably going to pay the price at the end of a run.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Certainly, there's a lot to consider when you're running these races, and particularly a race like ours on tomorrow where it's so long.
Darrell, I see right now Mark Martin starting to try to make that second groove start to work, where he doesn't pitch the car down in the corner, maybe wear off a little more tire than he wants to right at the first part of this race.
Yeah, I can really see this thing I can see the groove getting higher and higher. I could see us being up in that next to the wall groove, a lot like I was in Charlotte a few weeks ago.
Tony Stewart, we take a look from the onboard camera with Kevin LePage's machine. That's the battle for 2nd spot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has jumped to the early lead at Rockingham. We'll be right back. Matt Kenseth on pit road to Matt Yoakum.
2nd in points, Matt Kenseth on pit road. He was complaining his car was very, very tight. Remember, this is his backup car. He had a little bit of time in happy hour to try to dial this thing in, but the car is still very tight. They're making a chassis adjustment, 3 rounds of bite out of the right rear, and they're going to possibly add a spring rubber to the right rear to try to get this car handling a little more to his liking.
get
Ricky
going.
Craven going behind the wall. He was involved in the incident on the backstretch that brought out the yellow flag here on lap 12 for the first time this afternoon. Looks like not serious damage to the New Holland Chevrolet. Mike McLaughlin's team back there as well, working on the Gould's pumps machine. Those two cars among a couple that got together on the backstretch. We saw the smoke as they were heading down the back straightaway into turn 3, and that's the cause of our yellow flag first of the afternoon. Let's take a look one more time, show you the aftermath. Looks like McLaughlin's car up against the wall there.
Yeah, and Craven's got into him after he hit the wall, looked like.
The 2 car there, that's Ricky Craven. You can see Grubb going by on the bottom side.
I saw another car, I think it was Trickle's car, had some damage to the left rear. Maybe there's some more cars that were involved that got the 34 into the fence, but he bounced out in front of Ricky Craven's anyway.
Mike McLaughlin out of his machine, taking a look as the crew dives under the hood. Mike very solidly up in the points in the NASCAR Busch Series as the season draws to a close, but his championship chances pretty much gone at this stage.
Well, they really are, and you know, he's had this happen 2 or 3 times here late, getting in trouble early on in some of these races.
Darrell, as you can see the top of the quarter panel where the rear housing itself went all the way up and pushed that tire right up in the top. I'd say he's got a bent rear end housing, probably a lot of damage to the right front corner. You can see the tire marks on the back straightaway way up on the wall.
Yeah, he hit it. He got it in there pretty hard. I got to believe he may have had a little help, though, because it just doesn't, it looks like the car got turned to me.
Field under caution. Dale Earnhardt Jr. grabbing the lead a couple of laps in from pole sitter Tony Stewart. Here's how things stack up now with Kenseth way back at the back. Now, he's been on pit road a couple of times. He'll restart from back around 40th spot, so the margin at the moment would be about 240 points.
Yeah, he's been on pit road a lot, and he's making me nervous because he just barely has beaten the pace car out the last couple of times in. So they're trying to make some huge adjustments on the back of that car. Probably put some spring rubbers in and adjusting the track bar.
I want to ask you both a question. It looks like the weather may have changed. It's gotten cloudy. It's been cloudless all weekend. Is the track going to change a lot?
Well, it shouldn't change that much because it's been a very, very nice week. The one thing that I do notice, though, is you got so much tire buildup. You can see them weaving back and forth trying to clean these tires off. There's a lot of tire buildup already on these new tires, and the guys didn't clean them well, and they go in the corner, they could have trouble.
15 laps down, starting lap 16. We're back underway. Earnhardt Jr., Martin, Stewart, and LePage, your top 4 as they haul it through turn 1. On board LePage. He's dropped back to 4th spot now.
LePage made a huge charge, but it looks like he's settled into 4th place.
Here comes Mark Martin looking to the inside as they come down the front straightaway. It looks like Mark Martin wants to take the lead away from Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Heading down into 1, the Winn-Dixie Ford on the low side. He will indeed take the lead for the first time this afternoon. Stewart rides low and goes around Dale Jr. to move to 2nd spot.
You heard Stewart say they came here and tested, and they worked on only long runs, and that's exactly what his car acted like. On the start there, a little too tight, run a few laps, air pressure builds up, now he's going.
Looking at Kevin LePage's machine, riding 4th behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. Mark Green, who qualified 5th. He will not be back with that team next year. Needs a good run today. Looks like he's got a little nose damage to the 37 car when it went by last night. Field on the back straightaway. Mark Martin out front for the first time today. Martin has 9 wins in 20 Busch Series starts here at Rockingham. 16 times he's been in the top 10 out of 20, so you know he's going to be a factor all afternoon.
Another car doing a great job, the green car there, Mark Green, as a matter of fact, in the 37 there, and Jason Keller in the 57 car. These guys are really doing a good job. They're keeping right up in the front.
And they're all working real hard, you know, on next year, actually. Some of these guys are here to salvage a good year. And
well, I just see he's running hot. I saw some water coming out of the overflow just behind the left rear wheel on Mark Green's car there down the straightaway.
Well, buddy, that could be some of that rubber buildup we're talking about. Early on in this race, it could be covering up the grill and the openings there, and he's maybe pushing a little water out.
As we watch the leaders down in turn number 1 here at Rockingham, we got to look at Mark Green's car. It was the paint scheme on the car. Looks like the front is not bent. Certainly good news for Green. We'll be right back. Hey, Bobby Hillin Jr. brushed the wall in his clean shower Chevrolet. He's coming onto pit road on the backside. Cut down the right front tire, and we are back under a yellow flag situation. We'll show you how this developed just a moment ago.
Wonder if Mark McGuire is going to be over to help him pick the car up.
I was going to say, wouldn't need a jack if he was around, would you? Here it is again, Hillin through the tri-oval and down to turn 1, and he just brushed the fence there.
Yeah, I think he must have run over something and cut that right front down the way it looked.
Anybody's ever had a right front go down, the first thing you try to do is get right up against the wall, and then if it does get over there, it's not like going all the way across the racetrack and getting that home run hit.
Back down off the jack, and Bobby Hillen will come back out of the speedway. They've tried to straighten the bodywork out of that machine just a little bit. So we're under caution for the second time this afternoon. 24 laps complete. Tony Stewart's crew hoping that their man will bring home his first Busch Series win today. Speedway, the NASCAR Busch Series on the speedway for the ACDelco 200. Second caution of the afternoon. One of the drivers we were talking about is being very strong early. We watched Matt Kenseth come back on pit road. They are still working on that race car, trying to get it right. You know that Kenseth qualified on the outside of the front row, wrecked the car at Happy Hour. This is a backup machine, had to start from the back, and they're changing the spring rubber evidently.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing, but you know, that could be an older car, and maybe it doesn't have an adjustable track bar mount on it. They're having to try to do that mechanically with taking the bolts loose and moving it. There's something big going on back underneath there.
They just said they pulled the left rear rubber out of there, and Mark Green, as you can see in that shot, is being pushed back into the garage area. He run hot in the earlier stages of the race.
Let's get an update on the Green situation. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, they brought him in, and the water temperature gauge was pegged on the car. And Buddy, great call up there when you noticed that on the racetrack. I came over into the pits right away. They didn't even know it. So they realized right then. They brought him in. They're going to have to change the water pump on the car. That's why they put him behind the wall. Here's Larry McReynolds.
Well, thanks, Glenn. I'm sitting here relaxing on the wall with Mike McLaughlin, not where you wanted to be. Mike, you started 25th. You come in here third in the points, and what happened over there on the backstretch?
Basically, I just messed up. I wasn't aware Ricky had a run on me. I was paying attention to what's going on in front of me. Sometimes you need to be paying attention to what's going on behind you. I squeezed him, turned myself into the wall, just driver error.
Think they can get it back out there and get it repaired?
Everybody on this Gould Pumps team's done a good job all year, third in the points. They'll get it back out there one way or another. It may not look too good, but they'll have it back on the racetrack.
Well, Rick, they're telling me they're going to try to get it back out there. I guess the good news of this is he's almost like locked into third in points. He's so distanced from second place and from fourth place, something short of a disaster, he can't really lose third. Matt, what you got?
Well, Larry, what happened on the 17 car? He came in a few moments ago, and they took a spring rubber out of the left rear. What happened was they put one in on the first stop, and the right rear fell out. So it made the car very, very nasty for Matt Kenseth's liking. So that was the reason for his visit to pit road.
Back under green at the Rock, Mark Martin, your leader. What do you think about that, Darrell?
Well, I think he's in big trouble because he was just coming out of the pits when they dropped the green, and he's almost, he's about a straightaway ahead of the leader right now. Unless they really help that race car, he is in jeopardy going a lap down here pretty quick.
We've run 28 laps of 197. Mark Martin is out in front. Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin LePage. Take a look at your MCI scoring, showing you what's going on here at the Rock today. Mark Martin, a typically strong performance on Saturday.
Mark's always good here. Back to Kenseth, though. You know, one thing about being at the back of the field, you can come down pit road quite a bit and not feel like you're giving up any track position. But in this case here, he's been making me nervous. They've been laid out of the pit every time. That time it was just about costing.
Martin down into turn number 1. NASCAR timing and scoring, as we mentioned, there up in the top left corner of the screen by MCI.
There's the battle just behind the leaders there. You can see him coming through there. The 9-car, Jeff Burton, is really making a run up towards the front. As you see him streaking by, he's picking them off one by one, but he's working his way to the front, just like you said, Darrell.
Burton sitting 9th, started 18th. He's made a lot of moves in the first 30 laps here today. Todd Bodine also moving up nicely through the field. Take a look at the driver in second, Tony Stewart. He's gotten by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Stewart, you know the story. He looked like he had this race back in the spring when we were here in February and won up until the last half lap when Matt Kenseth came right up behind him, took the air off the spoiler of the 44, dove to the inside, scored his first Busch Series win. He's won now 3 times this year. Stewart's still looking for that breakthrough victory.
I'm just keeping an eye on Kenseth because, you know, the championship is at stake here. He's holding his own against Mark right now, which is pretty impressive.
You can see Tony Stewart get offline just a little bit, and the 3-car Dale Earnhardt Jr. just goes under. He moved out there and let him go. He says, right at the moment, you're handling a little bit better. There's no point in battling it out and maybe using up what little tires we're going to have
turn
left.
2 or 3 over
We've got a hard wreck into the wall.
This could be big.
Turn 3. Joe Bessie, Tim Fedewa. Bobby Hillen back out there, gets on the brakes. Looks like everybody else is going to get through okay, but Joe Bessie, the Power Team Chevrolet, told me this morning that the fall is his favorite time of the year because he's had a lot of success. Doesn't look like it today.
That car right there is really injured. No trunk at all left on it. The rear quarter panel's pushed right up against the rear wheels there. That's a lot of damage. I don't think he can fix that right away.
Joe Bessie brings the car down onto pit road. Crew will take a look at it. Let's show it to you one more time. This is up in turn 3. like Bessie got around Fedor, had nowhere to go.
Yeah, Tim Fedor went high there. Whether they were hooked together before they come into that picture, I don't really know. But what a great job the rest of these guys did to warm up and not get involved.
Now, it's hard to say, but I got to believe that maybe the 33 was getting into the back of the 6 as close as they are. Hard to say without backing all the way up and seeing what happened.
Mike Dillon in the mix there, Ashton Lewis, several other drivers
sure
all moving up high and getting out of the way. Joe Bessie's crew takes a look at the trunk. Tony Stewart's crew takes a look at the field under caution. We'll be right back. Today for the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series. I'm Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, Darrell Waltrip up topside with us today on pit road. Larry McReynolds, Glenn Jarrett, and Matt Yoakum. We'll show you one more time what happened here. Third caution of the afternoon. On board with Phil Parsons down into turn 3.
Watch him now. He puts his hand up to let everybody know there's trouble up front. Watch this as he goes by. Luckily misses both cars and arrives to the bottom part of the racetrack to miss cars that have slowed way down.
That's how it's done, right?
That's the way I do it.
I know.
He never hit a thing. He just kept right on going. Caught that gear and drove to the bottom and went right on. Good job on the spotter's part.
Kept the car nice and clean.
You know, there's something fishy going on out there right now.
What's that?
We're right here. Hank Parker,
There
one
he
of
is.
TNN's own.
Yeah.
That's son of Hank Parker, the famous fisherman, leading this race, Hank Parker Jr. in the 53.
And I believe Dave McCarty, one of my truck crew chief from last year, Bickle's crew chief, is the crew chief on that car right now, too. So that's pretty impressive.
Barry Dodson was here this weekend working with that team. He's going to be the general manager for that bunch starting next year.
Putting together a pretty nice program there. Now, if Hank will stay back and leave him alone, everything will be okay.
Take a look at Tony Stewart in the 44. The pole sitter here today, the 3 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. They will line up 8th and 9th on the restart. They got shuffled to the back, or at least a little further back in the pack on pit road just a moment ago. Everyone taking advantage of the opportunity to come in and grab tires, make some adjustments. Glenn Jarrett, what happened down there?
Well, that's exactly right, Rick. Tony Stewart came in. His car's been pushy all day. He didn't like it, a little too tight. So they changed 4 tires, filled it up with fuel, and took about a 1/4 to 1/3 spring rubber out of the right front, trying to get the car to turn a little better in the center. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 4 tires and fuel. Here's Matt Yoakum.
Glenn Mark Martin hit pit road the leader. Due to the pit stop shuffle, he came out 7th. The concern on the 60 car, it was a little bit loose, so what they did, they took 1 pound of air out of the right rear, added 1 round of bite. Hopefully that will get Martin a little better car, and I'll tell you what, if this car is not handling to his liking, I hate to see what it's going to be like when they get this thing right. Now to Larry McReynolds.
Well, thanks, Matt. I'm in Jeff Burton's pit, who had moved into the top 10 a few laps ago, and kind of an interesting situation. All day yesterday, their car was loose. They kept adjusting on it. They found this morning that the left front brake caliper was hanging up, and they anticipated that's why they had been loose for the entire practice. So they made some adjustments this morning. I talked to Buddy Parrott. He said, Larry, now we're actually too tight, made some air pressure adjustments, so we'll keep an eye on them, that car as well, Rick.
There's your pit summary. Mark Martin will come out in 7th after leading, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. lost 7 spots as well. Some of the other contenders falling way back. Hank Parker Jr. leads him to the green in the 53 car. Remember, your lead lap cars on the outside. Lap number 40 of 197, and we're back underway. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 95 being shown 2nd in his first Busch Series start. That's the Sadler Brothers Pontiac.
Well, I've seen Hank Jr. drive, and I've seen him driving the All-Pro Series. He's a pretty sharp young driver. I think he's going to do real good in the Busch Series.
He got caught on the outside there and got up in the loose stuff and lost about 4 or 5 positions there. As you can see, Hermie Sadler going by several of the other cars as they head down into 1. He's got to get out of that top groove and get back down there where the racetrack's pretty clean.
Now on the shuffling, the contenders, many of them had to restart a ways back in the pack. Right now, Bobby Hamilton Jr. being shown as the race leader, but here comes Martin. He's got Stewart bolted to his back bumper.
And in Parker's defense, he probably only took 2 tires, or else he didn't pit at all. So he's struggling right now. He's going to have a hard time holding those guys off. He's got good tires on.
Field out of turn 4, down the main straightaway. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 95. Kevin Grubb in the 52, running 1st and 2nd. Mike Dillon in the 72 being shown in 3rd. Tim Fedor, who spun earlier.
Well, just think about Bobby Hillin. He blew a tire right here down the front straightaway, and he's fighting to get back on the lead lap, so obviously didn't hurt the car too bad.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. there in the 95 doing a very, very fine job. I've watched him run about 3 or 4 times this year in every kind of division you can name, and he's been very, very smart in what he does. Your father has a lot of influence on what he does.
Every one of these juniors proved to me that apples don't roll far from the tree, buddy.
You're exactly right about that.
And there is the junior who may well claim the 1998 NASCAR Busch Grand National title here in the next little bit. Back up to 5th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 3. Inside Stewart. This is for position. They've got Mark Martin right there as well. Martin being shown 3rd. Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Kevin Grubb, though, refusing to give ground down into turn 3. Bobby Jr. ran this earlier this year and did very, very well.
Boy, that gives you a good idea of just how soft the suspension they run on these Busch Grand National cars. There was almost 2-3 inches of travel on the front of that car as we were looking back at it coming through the corner there.
Kevin Grubb in the 52 goes to the front. Remember, he was so strong at Bristol earlier.
One of the things, buddy, you talk about the suspension travel. One of the things you do to conserve tires is to run the car as soft as you possibly can to take all the pressure off the tires and let the chassis do the work.
On board with Kevin LePage as he works up in the 6th spot down the main straightaway. Glenn Jarrett, something you want to get answered down there?
Yeah. Darrell's comment there about apples not falling too far from the tree. I know your daughters. They're nowhere near as rotten as you are.
I know your dad, too, buddy.
Touche. I'll keep my mouth shut from now on out.
Kevin Grubb still out in front in the 52. He's got Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Those have been the 3 quickest cars here in the early going. We're 46 laps in, and Grubb able to keep those 3 behind him.
Boy, he is, and that's an incredible job. I mean, you know, he did a great job at Dover. Remember, we were up there, and he had a great run up there. It must be same car, same setup the way he's running.
The thing that's happening right now, though, Tony Stewart's looking behind him. He knows there's a freight train right behind him. As you see Mark Martin looking all over the back of Grubb since they head in there, Tony Stewart said, I'm going to try the outside to get around Mark Martin now.
Now, I like that. That's what I like to see. Let's go side-by-side racing through the corner. Let's get up in that outside groove. Let's make a show out of this thing, and let's pass somebody out there.
Well, he did just that. As you see, Tony Stewart moving his way up to the front right now. Kevin LePage has also run this group down. He's right at the back of this foursome here.
There's a bunch of these dogs that won't hunt unless they can stay right around the bottom. I like to see him get up there and go, man.
If there's a guy here who ought to know his way around the top side of a racetrack, it's certainly Stewart with all those years of dirt track experience.
I mean, that's a perfect example of let me hang this thing out on the outside and get up on that cushion. I'll show you something.
Leaders up in 3 and 4. Tony Stewart now out in front of the 44. Mark Martin trying to free himself up from that group of 5. He's got Earnhardt Jr. right behind him. They fund Kevin Grubb on the outside. Here's LePage diving low. He was 5th. He wants to gain at least 1 spot in the shuffle as they work out of 2 here. Martin and Earnhardt Jr. That's for 2nd spot. There's Dale Jr. to the inside, and he went right by.
Yeah, Mark said, I don't need this. too much blue paint in my mirror.
Dale Jr. now up to 2nd spot. Remember, 102 points, the difference in the championship chase coming in. Where's his main rival, Matt Kenseth? Well, we talked about how many times he'd been to pit road. I think they fixed the problem. Kenseth is being shown now up in 20th. Remember, he started 43rd.
Yeah, the best thing that could happen to him in his situation was those early cautions. Gave him a chance to tune on that backup car.
Well, you can see right now he is making moves on the outside there. He has not got the time to wait around because way back in the pack like this, he realizes that front group is out in clean air right now, and they're moving right along.
Well, and one thing about a driver like him, a young, aggressive driver like him, once they get the car under him and he feels comfortable, he'll find ways to get around people.
Kenseth to the inside of Elliott Sadler to pick off a spot. Andy Santerre tucks in behind the 17 car. Santerre in that gold paint scheme number 47 today. The Monroe muffler and shock car down the main straightaway. Kenseth able to break away from that group. Meantime, out in front, it's the Rushville Rocket. There's Tony Stewart in the Shell Pontiac for Joe Gibbs Racing. Still looking for his first NASCAR victory. Maybe this will be today. We'll be back in a moment.
Being a good car cleaner takes dedication.
We're at the Rock. We've got great battles all around the racetrack today. 57 laps on the board. We're just over a quarter of the way home this afternoon, and it's been a terrific one so far. We're going to look back at Elton Sawyer and Elliott Sadler and Glenn Allen Jr. mixing it up a little deeper in the field today as they battle for position. That's back around 27th, 28th, 29th spot. Randy LaJoy and Shane Hall going at it as well as they fight for position on the racetrack. That's the 24th spot. Shane Hall on the inside right now. Poor position there as they race onto the back straightaway. Randy LaJoie wants to leave Base Motorsports on a high note here at the end of the year with at least another victory. He's got one win this season. We were with you at Myrtle Beach back in the middle of the summer, but otherwise it's been a frustrating year for the two-time champion.
Look at Casey Atwood in the 63 Lasso car there. Went all the way down on the flat trying to get by these two cars. That kid is going to be something, Darrell. I just watch him in all the races, and he does not know what he can't do yet.
You know what? You know what the best thing he's got going for him? Time. He's got a lot of time to get better, buddy. He's just 18 years old, and he's real good already.
Well, you can see he's looking on the outside there. Darrell said he liked to see somebody do that, but not the... Oh, boy, I tell you what, Shane Hall almost got him into the outside wall.
Here's what I'm seeing happen all around the racetrack right now. Guys are trying that outside, and all of a sudden they're finding it really is good to them. I'm back in the field here, I know, but a lot of cars are taking that outside line and really making good time.
Battling down the back straightaway. Casey Atwood in the 63 there, drawn to the outside now of LaJoie as they battle for 24.
Outside.
Got the 56 of Jeff Krogh right there with him.
Randy was involved in that accident yesterday with Kansas. He couldn't avoid getting into there, and they had to put a new front air dam and all on that car. Tape up everything. The right front corner was bashed in pretty good, but they did fix it, and Randy said they had it back 100%.
Atwood to the high side, goes right around LaJoie. Wants to get around Krogh, but Krogh closes the door on him as they come out onto the main straightaway.
Well, he just gave him a little shot there to let him know I'm on the outside here. I don't think it'd be good to come up again, and they touch again as they go up the racetrack.
Keep digging. You got it.
You know that Randy LaJoie, the great veteran of this series that he is, wants to clear those cars and be out of the way.
Yeah, but he's going to make it this time, I believe.
Shane Hall comes right into the mix once again in the 85. Elton Sawyer there, too.
See, that's the downside about being on the outside in a heavy traffic.
Oh, man, I'm telling you right now, that was a wreck that didn't happen just then.
See, that's where you need a little bit more experience.
Jeff
Krogh
got completely sideways in the 56 there as they come off the corner.
Yeah, he's going to get in bigger trouble.
Now, Randy LaJoie, quite a story. The two-time Busch Series champion. He's leaving Base Motorsports. A lot of changes for Base coming up. Time for our Stanley Tools picture-in-picture. Here's Steve Byrd on next season.
Another young kid to put in that, you know. As far as two other drivers for the 33 and 74, there's a lot around, a lot of good talent and everything else. And there's no sense for us to be in a hurry. You know, there's some Winston Cup drivers here that may not have rides. So we just want to see what's going on. Then we can weigh all our options that way, and then we have to look for sponsors with it. Fina just left. That put us in a tight spot because all year they said they were going to stay. And now when the end of the year comes, this should have been all done. But, you know, Fina's been a great sponsor. Bill assures me, we sat down the other day, he says, we will have 3 teams going to Daytona. He says, in case any of the guys are getting nervous. He says, I run this thing with Staff America on it for 4 years before we got a sponsor. He says, they'll have Staff America on it. So I got a lot of confidence in Bill. You know, there ain't a lot of loyalty in this business, and Bill treats me real good, and I've known him a long time, and so I'm kind of loyal to him.
The comments of Steve Byrd on the future for Base Motorsports from Stanley, whatever it is, wherever it is. Make something great. Stanley with Tony Stewart in the 44 car out in front now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. They've got Mark Martin right behind him as they battle down the backstretch for the lead.
Yeah, Bobby Hill, you know, trying to keep him going a lap down, and he is absolutely giving him a fit. He used to run that high line, and Tony's got up under him a couple of times, but just can't clear him. And that high line is really working good. I am really excited about that. I like it.
gives you a good plan for tomorrow, possibly.
Oh, heck, I'm tired of this follow the leader stuff, running around the bottom all the time. I like to see him get 3 or 4 wide like they're doing today. This is great racing right here.
Tony Stewart on the back straightaway in the 44. The pole sitter is your leader. Right behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the point leader. Bobby Hillman, who got into the wall several laps ago. They've changed the right front on that machine. Clean shower car trying to stay on the lead lap. Your field summary brought to you by Napa there on the upper left corner of your screen.
What you see, Rick, is the thing about it. Tony gets in the corner a little bit better because he's on the bottom taking that shorter line in, but there's so much more speed and so much more momentum down the straightaway when you come off the corner up high like it. You don't get the car all bound up, all bogged down, and it'll shoot down that straightaway. And that's the big difference between running a low line and a high line.
Bobby Hillen still able to stay in front of those two lead cars. Is Stewart getting frustrated now, buddy?
Well, I think he's really trying hard right now, and he's defeating his own purpose as he pulls even, though this will kind of even it out here. As you see, Bobby Hillen, just exactly what Darrell was talking about. Great run up off the corner, but right now, instead of going away from him right there, you can pull even, and if you start off, I would cut that angle off getting in the next corner where he couldn't just turn and run any kind of line he wants to into the corner.
And see, the bad news for the lead car, the guy leading the race says, why do I want to take a chance and get in trouble racing a guy that's almost a lap down? But I need to get by this guy. He's holding me up. So you go through a real emotional battle with yourself as a driver. What do? Do I force myself in front of him and get ahead and go on? Because he's definitely holding me up, but I can't do anything about it.
Bobby Hillen staying right there with Tony Stewart up onto the main straightaway and through the D, through the tri-oval. Stewart down low into one. Looks like he'll get by this time. Nope.
Oh, I'll tell you what, he's got to quit coming straight up the racetrack like that. Bobby Hillen on the outside there, even though they're not running 200 miles an hour, it does make the car a little bit looser when you go in under another car, and that could pull the back around on him if you're really careful.
What he's going to do is spin himself out trying to keep him getting into Bobby Hillen is what he's going to do. Best thing he do is back off and follow him a little while.
This is not for position. Hillen in the 8 trying to stay on the lead lap. Stewart may be able to put him away here.
No.
I bet Earnhardt's sitting there in 3rd place right now going, come on, boys. Don't touch each other, because I couldn't get on the brakes and miss either one of you if you touch.
Well, it's great racing.
They're going to mess around.
Man, you're just like I am, but I'm standing up. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to make the call.
Hillen just wiring him on the high side here.
You got to remember his boss is here today, Mark McGuire, too, watching him run today. So Bobby Hillen putting on a great show for Mark McGuire.
And he's obviously got a good car. And if he hadn't cut that tire down, he says to himself, as a driver, I could be racing for the lead right now.
So Hillen will move away from Stewart. Stewart and Earnhardt Jr. will drop back into line. 75 are complete here at Rockingham. We'll be right back. North Carolina, live on TNN Motorsports. Caution waving for the 4th time today in the ACDelco 200. One car involved in a spin up between turns 1 and 2. The 14 of Patty Moise going around. She is down on pit road for service. She got together or became really close as they go down into one with rookie Phil Morris there in the 84.
He gets, yeah, you can see the contact there with Phil Morris, and you see the 14 of Patty Moise sliding very, very straight there. Now watch Elliott Sadler in the 66.
Well, hello. Man, that was close. Yeah, it looked like Patty got into the 84 car and actually spun herself out. So, and then here comes Elliott, and he can't. Folks, trust me, when you see all that smoke right there, you can't see a thing. You're just driving by instinct.
Blaze Alexander on the high side almost got caught up in that too in the 20 car. So everybody gets through, and we are clean, nobody into the wall, and that's certainly a good situation, but we're still under caution.
Explain something to me.
Uh-oh. You're supposed to explain it to me.
No, I don't understand. Why did those guys pit? Is it not? How long has it been since we had a caution?
Not very long.
Not very long, I guess. And I guess they got a set number of tires they can use. They can't be just putting on like a Winston Cup. So.
I am concerned about Kevin LePage, though, coming in. He was running right up near the front.
We better go down to the pits and find out what's going on. Them guys seem to know more about it than we do.
They're keeping track of things. Larry McReynolds.
Well, Darrell and Buddy, he had been backsliding quite a bit the last 20 or 25 laps. It's almost like when the sun come back out, he got looser and looser and looser, and he was just about out of the top 10. None of the leaders pitted. They stayed out. They got to talking amongst each other and said, you know, we're probably not going to get no better. So they come in, made some major adjustments on that car, put 4 tires on, so now they're good to go. Matt?
Well, Larry, on lap 4, young Adam Petty called in. He said, guys, I've got a problem under the hood. Something is amiss. At the first caution on lap 11, they pitted. They looked to see if maybe a plug wire had come off. Everything looked okay. Apparently now he's got something wrong in the valve train. His father, Kyle, told him, look, just get as many laps in as you can. Run it till it blows.
Adam Petty being shown 23rd as we get ready to go green. Safety cars in. Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Mark Martin, and Jeff Burton on the high side battling for the top spot as we begin lap 82.
Now, Schrader's gotten up in the mix, too. He's right there behind Burton. And I tell you, David Green has been running a good race, too.
Kenny Schrader in the 15, the Oakwood Home Chevrolet out of the Andy Petrie shops, up to 5th spot. Todd Bodine 6th. Jason Keller is 7th. This is the lead battle.
Fedor right now, right on the bottom side, trying to get back up towards the front right now, making a charge on Tony Stewart.
Stewart all alone out in front. Fedor with that body damage on the right front corner after he tangled up in turn 3 a while ago with another car.
Actually, that's Todd Bodine in the 30 car.
Yes, it is. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2nd spot, but a good distance back behind that battle between the 44 and the 33. There's Adam Petty, had that motor problem. He's just out there trying to get seat time in, as we heard a moment ago, being shown 37th. Stewart opening up a good advantage now, more than a second over Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That car is a teammate to Robert Presley. They borrowed that car to run here, and that's where it comes from. And Adam Petty's got a great future, and, you know, even though he's not up to speed, he'll learn a lot about the speedway. Look at this girl on the outside.
Yeah, Fedor, I think he pitted. He's a lap down, and so he's probably on fresher tires and certainly used that outside to his advantage. I think how Stewart is pulled away from everybody. Ooh, Stewart got
So he backs out of it a little bit there and lets Fedor go on by. Fedor back in 38th spot. 40 laps between cautions up to this last 4th caution we had. Glenn Jarrett, the leaders decided not to come on the pit road.
Well, that's right, Rick. They only got 3 sets of tires that they can change. 3 sets of right size in addition to the ones they started on. And they talked about it, but they decided that they weren't even halfway yet, so there was no point coming in and burning up all those tires early in the race. They're going to need them later on. That's why that they let Fedor go on by and get his lap back. He was on fresher tires. He stopped, so he gets the lap back, but they save tires for later on in the race. I think it's good strategy. They will need them because this place is tough on tires.
Battle for the lead coming out of turn 4. Dale Jr. to the inside of Stewart. Give Earnhardt the lead as they hit turn 1.
I saw Tony Stewart do the same thing in Charlotte a few weeks ago. He was leading the race. All of a sudden, he got really, really bad loose. Car got sideways on him, and the next thing you know, he was getting lapped. And I don't know what's going on there right now, but he just got sideways down there under that car in turn 1, and now he's going backwards.
There's trouble just behind Tony Stewart, though. If you'll look at the race car, we started talking about the early part of this race, the number 9 there.
Engine number 9.
Yeah,
Here
Jeff
she comes.
Burton is certainly on the charge in that machine. He's got Mark Martin right with him, so the 2 Roush cars a little loose there, it looked like, for Burton.
It just jumped just for a second there, but that car is really hooked up. It's real quick in the center part of the corner. I was watching him on Tony Stewart right along in this area. He's able to pick that throttle back up, run off on the flat in the middle part of that racetrack. If you were real loose, you wouldn't stay down there, I can guarantee you.
And I keep believing Baker says, oh, it just jumped sideways for a second there. Now, you can tell that he ain't been out there that much lately, I can tell you. That thing will scare you to death when they do that, Baker.
Daryl, let me tell you, I didn't drive as long as you. It scares you.
Well, I'm conservative, you know.
On board with Mark Martin down into turn 3, 109 laps remaining. Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the top of the leaderboard. Patty Moe's back on the racetrack trying to hang with him and get her lap back. We'll be back. Grand National Series today on TNN Motorsports. I'm Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, and Darrell Waltrip. Top side, Ray McReynolds, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum on pit road. You saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. He is the leader on lap 91. Great battling further back in the package. We watched Dave Blaney and Glenn Allen Jr. get after it. Robert Presley in the mix there as well. That's for 8th, 9th, and 10th position. Drivers starting to push pretty far up the racetrack now as we're almost to halfway.
Yeah, they really are, and it's making for exciting racing because, you know, like I say, you go side by side through the turns and exiting the corners where all the action is.
Downstairs, Larry McReynolds.
Hey, Darrell, I got to ask you a question about the tire situation here.
Yeah.
Now, I know this isn't Winston Cup, and they have rules to work by as far as tires they can use, but you know this place as well as I do. We've run 40 laps on tires. The caution comes out, and I say, Darrell, stay out. What are you going to tell me?
I'd say, Larry, I didn't hear you. I'm coming in.
That's what I kind of thought you'd say.
The radio's not working. Huh?
I tell you what, I just told Buddy and Rick up here, I said, if I'd have been racing just then, I'd have come in and got me some tires. You could jump all over these guys like a grasshopper on a June bug right now.
I do not envy these crew chief jobs, knowing that you've got to run this race with 3 sets of tires. Now, they can change all they want under green, but under caution, they only have 3 sets. Now, tomorrow, if we run about 15 laps and the caution comes out, it's going to be 4 more tires.
Hey, Larry, I told these guys that we don't even roll the tires to pit road. We carry them because we don't want to take anything off of them.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
You know, we're talking about that. Kevin LePage, we definitely followed him into the pits. He started dead last. He's already up to 15th already, so he's definitely making a move with the fresher tires and catching up on the lead cars right now.
Jeff Burton in the 9 slips up out of the groove for a moment. He gives up some ground there. Todd Bodine has been very strong today, and Bodine in the 30 car just made a move to pick up a spot.
I think what you want to see what tires does. Patty Moe stopped, got tires. She spun down there, got tires. She just passed the leader of the race. That's what tires are good for right now. And I tell you, if they don't get a caution pretty quick, a bunch of people are in trouble.
Tony Stewart of the 44 hanging on to second spot. Mark Martin is right with him in the 60 car. And then Todd Bodine a couple of car lengths further back. So the battling there. And there's the 9 of Burton. He is really backing up now. Elliott Sadler going by him in the 66. And there's the 64 with Curtis Markham on board.
Yeah, you can see him going way up the racetrack there and sideways off the corner. Burton is really fighting that race car right now. Apparently the right rear's giving up on that car some.
I'm up here in the booth and I heard Burton hollering, "I'm loose!"
Talk about Curtis Markham for a second as Burton continues to backpedal in the 9 car. We saw a brief glimpse of Markham started 40th in that car. He is up to 8th right now. So
yeah,
great run being turned into
LePage is just bomb. He's coming to the front in a big hurry.
Kevin LePage up to 11th with less than 100 laps remaining this afternoon.
Less than 100 laps, and you can tell that the sun is peeking in and out from these clouds right now. Racetrack constantly changing on these guys, and whoever had the best setup for this type of conditions will start really showing up pretty quick now too.
Yeah, you know, we talked about the sun not making a lot of difference, but it'll certainly make a big difference as the tires wear down. That's where it makes the biggest difference.
So Burton is going to come out of pit road now under green to get tires. Blaze Alexander there as well.
Boy, that's a gutsy call right there. That's going to put him probably a lap in the distance down.
Burton slowly toward his pit stall. Larry McReynolds is there.
Well, I'm here in Jeff Burton's pit. I asked Buddy Parrott just about 2 laps before this pit stop what was going on, and I think they were scrambling and talking to one another. But best I can tell, what I could see going in the corner, he had gotten very, very loose. It's going to be a routine stop. They do put some wedge in the left rear because that's certainly a sign that it was loose. 4 Goodyear tires, a little bit of trouble on the left rear. Still trouble on the left rear, and he's down and away. Very lengthy stop, but he definitely was loose.
About a 21.5 second stop there for Burton, so a little bit off the pace, and he loses just a little more ground as we put lap 100 on the scoreboard today. Burton back on the racetrack. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is out in front, and he's built a 3.2 second lead over Mark Martin, but with the different pit stop strategy and the tire changes coming, that probably won't hold up. We'll be back. Sports, Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, Darrell Waltrip topside today, the NASCAR Busch Series, and we have a new leader. Glenn Allen Jr. in the Luxair Chevrolet just blew by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now Glenn Allen, one of those drivers who pitted on the last caution to take 4 tires. Here's the move out of turn 4. Gentlemen, this wasn't even close.
No. When you have good tires here, I mean, it's like 0.3 of a second a lap. I mean, he is motoring. You can see he pulled almost 3 car lengths in one corner there.
Here's the other guy that's fast too. Is that's Markham in the 64 car, and he took tires. So did the 66 car Sadler, and they're all just motoring right on by these guys.
Now Curtis Markham started and qualified the 64. We're told that actually Dick Trickle did get in the car during the first caution.
Okay.
Trickle unable to make that qualifying run yesterday because he was not eligible for a provisional if they were unable to make the show on time.
Now, as we were talking about Kevin LePage, you see he has already run the 3 down and passed him there. Earnhardt had nothing for him because of those fresh tires. Almost 8 or 10 car length lead right in just one straightaway there. Right now, Kevin LePage is just moving away from him.
And I apologize for my erroneous information. I'm normally on top of things a little bit better than that. So
quite all right.
I'm sorry. I had no idea.
Quite all right. Kevin LePage is doing a great job out there. He is 5th. And look at Kevin Grubb in the 52. We talked about Grubb. He was battling for the lead earlier. He is up there now in the mix as well. So Grubb back to 4th spot with Elliott Sadler right there. Sadler is 5th. Working out of turn 2 to the backstretch.
And Patty Moe just dropped down on the apron. She's going to the pits on the backstretch. I think she got an engine problem there. That's a shame. She had worked her way back on the lead lap.
Tire strategy had played into her hands as well after that spin. several laps ago.
Even new tires don't last forever.
Oh, no.
When they start going away a couple of tenths, and then you'll lose about a half a second, and then before the end of a tire run, you're like a half a second, 3/4 second off.
But for the fans at home, I mean, they can see what we're talking about here, tire management and the difference between some used tires, 30, 40 lappers, some brand new tires, and what the difference there is in speed around this racetrack.
Glenn Allen in the 99-year leader, just putting Randy LaJoie a lap down as LaJoie washes up high on the racetrack in turn 1. Glenn Allen doing a great job. He has opened up nearly a second over Dick Trickle.
For the people that are a Jeff Burton fan, he had a hole in the right rear tire. It was sleeping down on him, and it really made the car very, very loose.
That's Trickle in the 64, running second. There's LaJoie. He's been put a lap down now. Back to third, the 52, young Kevin Grubb from Virginia. Got that Kerr Agajanian sponsorship on the car. He drove their car, the 43, a couple of times earlier. There's the 40, LePage, the Channellock Chevrolet. Nicely working that team is today. There's Elliott Sadler in the Diamond Ridge car. He is 5th. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., who has led a lot of laps here today, he is riding in 6th, the point leader. 4.5 seconds off the pace.
I know LePage is probably saying, man, I'm hurting and I don't feel real good. And Mike, when you know I got a great car today and I got to stay out here and drive hard all day long.
I want to give a call to the 84 car, unsponsored on the backside. That's young Philip Morris from Virginia. He is riding right now in 7th after qualifying 12th, his first Busch Series start. There's the 56 of Jeff Krogh. He is being shown 8th, and Mark Martin behind him in 9th. Now Martin out of cycle on the pit stops on the tire situation, as we've talked about. He's been very, very stout and has led some laps here today.
You know, Rick, this is not a terribly intimidating racetrack. And so some of these guys can come from some of the short tracks where they do a lot of slipping and sliding on a weekly basis and be real comfortable here on this racetrack.
We just got to look at Todd Bodine. There's Bobby Hillin back on the lead lap and up in 11th after clipping the wall earlier and having the tire go down. I'll show you as we take you a little back for more through the field. 12th spot belongs to the 4, Jeff Purvis. The 29 of Hermie Sadler is a lap down at this point. After Purvis, there's Sadler and Dillon in the 72. So that's for 12th, 13th, and 14th, and rounding out the first 15 cars. Tony Stewart in the 44. Mark Green back on the racetrack in the 37. Robert Presley there, and Mark Krogh in the 80 car. So Stewart, who was on the pole, led a bunch of laps early. 15th. He's got his work cut out for him. We've got about 85 to go.
Well, some of these sneaky old veterans out there right now, I'd be looking for something flying out the window on these cars any minute now, wouldn't you, buddy?
Speaking of sneaky veterans, how about Dick Trickle on the outside of Glenn Allen Jr. for the top spot down into 3.
You're clear.
Trickle on the high side of the Schneider trucking machine. He's got it.
57 years old, and I'm telling you what, when he gets behind a race car, he's like he's 18. He won in Darlington, holding off Dale Earnhardt Jr. for a win this year, and seems the tougher the racetrack, the better Dick Trickle races.
Trickle with 2 career Busch Series victories after that win earlier in the year at Darlington. Won at Hickory in 1997 to break through. I think his first major NASCAR win could be his day. First time Trickle's led a race here at Rockingham. Find out if he can hang on. Time Busch Series champion Randy LaJoie, second car we've seen today, pushing water out the overflow in a major way as they come out of pit road to change tires on the Fina Chevrolet.
Yeah, you see the guy down there rubbing on the front of the grill. Well, what he was doing was cleaning that area right there off. That gets covered up with rubber, and no aero going there. It's just like having to take off, and the things will get hot, especially on these long green flags.
So Randy LaJoie, who had dropped a lap to the leaders earlier, back onto the racetrack, probably lost another one there. Here's the point situation. 2 races to go after today's event in 1998. Matt Kenseth started the day 102 points behind. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has built that lead, at least if they finished where they are right now, to 152. But we've still got quite a ways to go. We've got 73 laps remaining. Your leader, the 64. Dick Trickle is out in front. The 99 of Glenn Allen Jr. is second. And Kevin Grubb in the 52 right there running third, turning in a great ride here today. Kevin LePage is 4th. And Phil Morris is 5th in his first Busch Series start.
That's pretty impressive, you know what?
It is.
I'm telling you.
Veteran of the NASCAR Winston Racing Series up in the Virginia area. He's won a ton of features. I believe it was something like 28 of 44 this year for Philip Morris in the NASCAR Winston Racing Series. He was one of the contenders for the national championship this year.
Well, that's it. He's doing a great job. I've watched him on a number of occasions, and he's just running that car wherever he wants to, high, low, and doing a really good job.
See Kenny Schrader there in the 15 going a lap down now as they go motoring right on by on the outside.
Schrader was up as high as 5th earlier, but he is evidently out of sync in the pit stop situation as well. He's back to 27th right now, dropping a lap.
Yeah, and Glenn Allen is actually staying pretty close to Trickle here, and if anything, maybe closing back up on him a little bit. So the Tricksmeister might be wearing his tires down a little bit more than he needs to.
Well, if there's a guy who knows how to get it done in a tough tire situation, Dick Trickle's won something on the order of 600 short track races in his 30-plus years behind the wheel. And I would think he would certainly know how to take advantage of a situation like that.
You would think so, but I'm noticing what Daryl's talking about. He went in the corner just then and went way up in the gray stuff where there's no rubber at all. And if you're going to wear a tire down, I can't think of a better way to do it and go where nobody's running.
Yeah. He could be using that Richard Petty philosophy, too. Run real close to the wall. That way you won't hit it so hard. But I always ask Richard, I said, does that mean you're going to hit it more often?
There's the 17 of Matt Kenseth. He is apparently not at top speed at the moment. 21st in the running order. We told you the story. Kenseth qualified on the outside of the front row here this weekend, trying to sweep at Rockingham. Wrecked his primary car yesterday afternoon in Busch Series Happy Hour practice. Had to take a backup car to the back of the field when they dropped the green here this afternoon. Kenseth came up through the pack a couple of times, but seems like he's fighting it once again, being shown 21st.
Never was all that good. I think they helped it some, but obviously when the tires go away, they go away big time on that car.
Kenseth holding it down low up onto the back straightaway.
I noticed several of the cars are now making pit stops, whether they need. You see Buckshot Jones there in the pits.
We got to be getting close to that window, though. I mean, there were 40 under green and a caution, and a lot of leaders didn't come in, so we got to be right in that 80-lap window where they're going to have to come in for wear.
130 on the board, 67 remaining. Buckshot Jones has a win in 1998.
Here comes the 3 car. He's coming down pit road right now.
Looks like Buckshot's car maybe overheating just a tad. We saw some steam on the front end of that car, too.
That looked like the brakes to me. Really used the brakes coming down, trying to slow down in turn 3 up there, stood up on the brake pedal. I think that was right off the right front corner of the brake.
On board with Buckshot as he hits the speedway once again. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the pit road to Glenn Jarrett.
And he comes in for those badly needed tires. This will be a 4-tire change. The car seems to be okay. It's just that the tires are worn out, so we really didn't expect any major changes on the car right now. So 4 tires of fuel, and he'll be down and away. Let's go to Matt.
The 17 car, Matt Kenseth, is in his pit. He's starting to fall back. You see the handle had just gone away. They are going to adjust the car with air pressure and take on 4 tires. This should be the last stop for Matt Kenseth.
Meantime, a battle for the top spot. Kenseth's crew still working on pit road. You saw Kevin Grubb take the lead. Down going through the main straightaway trial will now Trickle up in turn 2. Uses that rim ride to style to get back around it.
One thing these guys that are stopping right now, they don't want to see a caution on the speedway.
Mark Martin, the latest to come to pit road, along with Todd Bodine. Meantime, here's your leaders out of turn 4. Trickle in the 64, moving by Casey Atwood, 63. Put him a lap down. Grubb in the 52, right there in second spot. Glenn Allen Jr. in the 99 rides third. The pit road, Larry McReynolds.
Okay, I'm here in Mark Martin's pit. He brings the car to the attention of the crew. You can tell he was just a little bit loose. They put some wedge in the right rear. Looks like a very fast stop. Right side tires already on. Left sides go on. He's down and away. A very quick stop for Mark Martin. Todd Bodine as well takes on 4 tires, and he beats Mark off of pit road.
Trickle still out in front of the orange 64. The red 52 of Kevin Grubb in second. Glenn Allen is third. There's Martin. Todd Bodine as the leaders come by. They're just coming up to speed, so they have lost a lap under green here.
You see, the thing, as a crew chief, you're fighting under. You want to wait for that caution, but you just can't. You got to come to the point where you got to make that call, and it really puts the crew chief in a really bad situation.
Jeff Purvis was running 12th. He's on pit road. Tony Stewart on pit road. He was 14th.
The thing you know is, as a crew chief and a driver, these cars are all handling ill right now.
And the other thing you have to look at is all these guys that were really getting beat up for a while ago, now they have the fresh tires, and this is their chance to be Superman for a while.
Yeah, if no cautions, if they don't have a caution, but when you get this transition between cars with new tires and old tires, that's when somebody runs over somebody.
Trickle is out in front. Tony Stewart on pit road. Glenn Jarrett.
And he slides the car into the pit stall. Of course, it's not going to hurt these tires. They're worn out anyway. No wonder they wouldn't stop. This will be 4 tires. They talked about, believe it or not, for a while only doing 2. But then good common sense took over. They decided to do all 4. We got the left side up. Tony's down and away. That was a good pit stop. He may have gained a few positions there.
Tony Stewart under green, back onto the racetrack now. Your leader is still Trickle. Kevin Grubb is second. Then Allen Jr. is 1.2 seconds behind in third. There's Adam Petty. He is a lapped car, the 22, his second career Busch Series start. I told you earlier how they had motor problems. Here's Trickle. He's going to drop down and come to pit road under green in the 64 car. With all these pit stops happening with 59 laps remaining. Trickle's crew around to the right side of the car. Looks like they're going to go for right side tires only, possibly. The right side now, they've got 2 more there. They're going to do a 4-tire stop here.
I can feel that thing off my window. I like it.
Working the right side, jack down. 1 can of gas in. Left side will go up now. Left side tires going on for Trickle. There you see our pit stop time clock. Top left of your screen. The call to go, go, go to Trickle's pit. The back stretch. Now remember, this guy has been leading the race and pitting on the back side. He's got a pit road speed limit to deal with. Kevin Grubb in the 52 takes over now. Trickle back up onto the speedway.
You heard Trickle say,
and Philip Morris 1 and 2.
Yeah, Philip Morris is in second place. Now this cat can run win this thing. You heard Trickle ask him to pull that covering off his windshield. They run a plastic cover over the windshield now, a Lexan cover that we can peel off, just like having a brand new windshield. And that sun's getting rough down in turn 1.
Glenn Allen on pit road in the 99. They go around for some left side tires on that machine. Got to take 4, obviously, if you want to have a chance to win this thing. There's the 52 of Grubb, the 84 of Morris. Kevin LePage being shown third. Robert Presley in the 59.
That's Bobby Hillen.
Is in there too, and Bobby Hillen spins the 8 car and gets into the wall. All these drivers have stopped under green flag conditions. Hillen's going to get it turned around and pointed in the right direction. Here's your leader, Grubb. Presley gets by. Morris gets by as the caution waves. So now Morris may have taken over the top spot. Morris being shown as your leader as he made that pass coming to the stripe. So a wild situation here at the Rock. Laps are winding down. 45 to go. We'll come back and sort it out for you at North Carolina Speedway. Traffic jam in North Carolina Speedway late in the going here. Let's head downstairs, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, they were a lap down, so Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Ken Schrader have come in again after pitting only a few laps ago. Schrader for 4 tires and Earnhardt Jr. for 4 tires. They will be one of the first cars up on the inside line on the restart, but they are a lap down. Schrader's away. Here goes Jeff Burton by now. Earnhardt Jr. is away. Pulls out in front of Dave Blaney and Casey Atwood, but these guys are going to have one chance, and that's to get their lap back from the leaders on the restart and then hope for a caution.
I'll show you what happened to put us under caution once again as the field comes behind the safety car out of turn 4.
Yeah, this gets all bottlenecked up back in here, as you can see, and Hillen's in the middle, and he just tries to stay out of this car on the outside here, and he gets it loose getting up under him there.
Like Casey Atwood in the 63 car there in that mix of traffic.
Did you see Matt Kenseth in the 17, second in the points, just avoiding that wreck going in the middle part of that corner.
So Hillen for the second time today goes around. Now here's the lead situation that we had. Robert Presley and the back end of the 52 of Kevin Grubb and Philip Morris in the 84 going by on the inside as they came to the yellow flag to take over.
That's like flying a kite without a tail on a windy day there. I'm going to tell you, he gave him a pretty good little nudge there.
So the field is under caution once again. 145 laps on the board. Time for our AutoZone Tech Fact. The NASCAR Busch Grand National Series director retiring soon.
Well, I try not to look at no names or no numbers. I look at the rule, the infraction of the rule, or whatever it may be, and regardless who it is, I try to go down the middle of the road, and you know the chips have to fall where they may. And a lot of them want me to stay on, but you know, I think it's time for me to step down and let somebody else have the reins.
Ray Hill means a lot to the series as well as all the officials, the competitors, and everyone.
He's been a car owner, a car builder. He's been the director of the Winston Cup Series. He's been with several of the tire companies. He's got a pretty well-rounded background.
Well, he's really meant everything. Ray is a real great guy. He's about as knowledgeable about a race car as anybody I ever worked with in all my years.
I think he's extremely fair to the competitors, the crews, and the officials.
He's slow to make a decision, but when it makes it, he's right about it.
Ray's well-respected, well thought of, been around a long time, knows what he's talking about. He's a good car man, good race man, honest fella.
I'm going to miss all the stories. He's forgotten more than I'm. No.
Anything that I've picked up from Ray Hill is definitely going to be a benefit not only to myself but to the whole Busch Series for the new season. And if anything, I can thank him and be proud that I was a part of his regime for as long as he was with us.
Ray Hill will certainly be missed as the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series director. Brought to you by AutoZone, the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. There's a guy who's been around since I've been around in the early 80s.
I used to build race cars with him. He worked with my dad, and then he moved into being an official. And I'll tell you one thing, everybody will tell you, integrity. He had a lot of it.
Yeah, you know, interesting, we got the 84 car on the screen there. Ray Hill is ending a great career. He's a gentleman. That's what I liked about Ray. You could sit down and talk to him. You could reason with him. He'd listen to your side of the story, and he would make it down the middle of the call, right down the middle of the road call. And here's a young man that's just getting his career underway. And we may be sitting up here 20 years from now talking about him, or somebody will anyway.
Phil Morris in the 84. That's a former Dale Earnhardt Inc. automobile. Larry McReynolds, what are they saying on pit road about the 84's chances here?
Well, Rick, again, he come in running second, took on 4 tires, and went back out, kind of back in the field just a little bit. Just like Kevin Grubb, who was leading the race, come in, routine pit stop, took on 4 tires. Now, the bad news for both of these guys, with 50 laps to go, they have no more Goodyear tires to put on under caution. They can only change under green. So what these guys need for all the cars they've got a lap down, they need this race to go green the rest of the way.
Coming up to put lap 148 on the board, so we'll have a little less than 40, make that 50 to go when we come back to North Carolina Speedway. 60 had reassumed the top spot. Philip Morris is being shown as the leader, but it's Trickle and Todd Bodine and Matt Kenseth in the 17, who I believe is not on the lead lap. Going a little further back, there's LePage. And Philip Morris trying to work their way back to the front. Matt Yoakum.
The 40 car of Kevin LePage also hit pit road during that last caution. His complaint, the car was very tight. So they addressed it with a spring rubber and wedge into the car 4 tires. That was their last set of sticker tires to take under a caution. But I do think they made enough adjustments to get that car ready for victory lane.
Down the main straightaway one more time.
Boy, when they get all mixed up like this after the pit stops and pitting under green and who's a lap down and who isn't, it's really difficult for everybody to know who's leading and who's not and who they're racing at this point in time.
The blessing of computer scoring, Kevin LePage in the 40 car will emerge from that mix with the lead. So it's LePage now, Morris in second. The rest of those cars that were at the head of the pack were not on the lead lap, evidently. LePage and Morris being shown 1 and 2 right now, with Grubb in the 52, sitting in 3rd spot. Elliott Sadler being shown 4th in the 66. Hermie Sadler in the 29 being shown 5th. Trickle is being shown 10th right now. And there is Kenseth in the 17. He is being shown back in 19th, only 4 spots behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. So if Kenseth has gotten that car tuned to where he likes it, he may have a chance to not lose a lot of ground in the point chase here.
I really don't think he does. He seems to be awfully loose. He seems all right for a few laps on the newer tires, but after the tires wear down a little bit, he gets real loose.
See Earnhardt Jr. here in the 3, right on the bottom of the racetrack. Jeff Burton in the 9 just in front of him as they work up through some heavy traffic right now. You know, this is the time that all race car drivers dread, when you have double file racing out there all around the racetrack and people trying to make up laps. Just one little touch and all of a sudden you have big trouble.
On board with Phil Parsons back in 26th position, couple of laps down to the leaders. To go, we were watching the 3 and the 9. They're battling for 14th. There's Kenseth with his mentor Mark Martin right with him, and Glenn Allen in the 99. Now Allen led earlier. He's back to 12th right now. Martin is 13th, so this is a scramble for position. Kenseth right there as well.
Yeah, this is you know, everybody's got pretty good tires.
They touched just a little bit, excuse me, Darrell, as they started in the turn 3 right there. Glenn Allen got right up in the side of the 17 of Kenseth, as you see Mark Martin checking him over there as they head down into turn 1.
Battling down into the first corner. Allen is 12th. Martin is 13th.
Oh, there goes our rookie. Oh, the way. Oh my goodness. The 84 car, Philip Morris. He was up in the wall. He just didn't hit it.
Morris scored in second last time by, but that'll change. He loses a bunch of positions down the back straightaway. The leader is still LePage. Earnhardt Jr. trying to make up some ground now.
And doing it pretty well there. I think Philip Morris is having a little bit of trouble on the outside groove there, getting that thing corralled back in. You see him up in the loose part there as he loses more position. He's dropping back through the field.
NASCAR timing and scoring being brought to you by MCI in the top left corner of your screen as we watch Morris in that blue and white 84. On the outside now, Robert Presley.
Yeah, he's really over driving the car. I think it's kind of like a rookie mistake. He's driving harder and losing time because he's getting past all these cars that are on new tires. It's really, I think, frustrating him somewhat. He's getting the thing in big trouble up in that high groove.
Page is your leader. Grubb in the 52 is second. We're looking further back in the pack to 29 of it. Hermie Sadler. He was being shown fourth last time by. Morris right with him. Fedewa is up in there as well. Now, remember that Fedewa spun and got in the wall earlier today. He's got some sheet metal damage on the right front corner of the Kleenex machine, the 33. But he's back in the mix as well in fourth spot.
This is one of those times when you really would like to be able to find a place to get comfortable, but there is no such place at this point in time. This is when you're telling your spotter, can you find me somewhere where I got a little hole to ride in? Yeah, if you want to go a lap down, I can.
Very intense racing here in the NASCAR Busch Series at the Rock today on Saturday. Don't forget tomorrow, the ACDelco 400. Our coverage begins at noon Eastern time with our pre-race program. Right after race day, we'll be on with you at 11:30 Eastern tomorrow on race day. So I hope you can join us for a full day of live motorsports action coming your way. NASCAR Winston Cup racing from the Rock and NHRA competition tomorrow as well from Houston, Texas. Matt Kenseth and the 40 of LePage. LePage is your leader. Kenseth being shown just hanging on in 23rd, trying to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, and he goes high on the racetrack. Kevin LePage right now, even with that rotor cuff problem that he has, and having this wired up system that he has to take away the pain from his right shoulder from a wreck earlier, you can see right on the bottom of the racetrack, Kenseth fighting to try to stay on the lead lap. He's going to have to work very hard because Kevin LePage's car seems to be very, very good.
Page working the low side as they haul it down into turn one. That's the blue and red 40 car, the channel lock machine. Kenseth on the high side trying to stay with him and stay on the lead lap. Back in 23rd spot, a lot at stake for Matt Kenseth, who won his first race of the season, first Busch race of his career here back in February, that last lap pass on Tony Stewart.
Daryl, you know, people at home would say, why is he racing that hard to stay on the lead lap? Because just behind him, you can see Earnhardt Jr. coming up there. And if he gets up there and they keep racing side by side, that'll put him right back in the fight again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's doing what he has to do. And as aggravating as it may be to LePage, he's doing what he has to try to stay on the lead lap.
Here comes Earnhardt Jr. on the inside of Grubbs as they come down the front straightaway. You can see he's really closing in on this group up front.
Kevin Grubbs still sitting third in the 52. That's been the drive of the race in my mind. A lot of drivers have been at the front for a period of time today, but Kevin Grubbs has played it smart, belying his youthful age, and he's hung right in there. Here's Burton in the 9 trying to get back in the mix. The 66 now. Elliott Sadler challenging LePage for the lead, and he's got him. Sadler in the 66 will grab the point in that Diamond Ridge machine with 33 to go.
Not yet.
Well, they got him on the stripe that time. LePage by a whisker. You know, keeping track of these lead changes, it only counts at the line, and they gave it to Sadler last time by. Here's the 9 of Burton working his way to the front. He wants to get on the lead lap as well.
And everybody knows that Elliott Sadler is going to move to the Wood Brothers next year. This is his last official year in Busch Grand National Racing. And this car of Bechtel's has been really good on many occasions this year, the number 66.
Quite a battle shaping up. Coming up on 30 to go at the Rock. Kevin LePage has just coughed up the lead to Elliott Sadler. Sadler in the 66 at the point. We'll see if he can hang on. The National Series on TNN Motorsports, the ACDelco 200. This is coming down to a question of who pitted when and who's got some tires to get him to the line. The 66 of Elliott Sadler is out in front. Kevin LePage of the 40 is second. The 17 of Matt Kenseth. He was tracking 2 laps down. He is sitting 22nd, trying to stay in contention for the national championship here in this series. The big story as we get down to the end of this one, who has the freshest tires, who will be able to contend. Most of the contenders have used up their 3 sets of tires allotted under caution. get the latest on who's doing what with tires on pit road. First to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, as we stated a while ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. came in to tail into that last caution, put on his last set of new tires, as did Jeff Burton. Earnhardt Jr. going by Burton on the racetrack right now. They have gotten back in the lead lap by passing Elliott Sadler, but now they've got to have a caution because with only 20-some laps to go, they don't have enough time to make that distance up on the racetrack. They're going to have a caution to get back in this thing. Here's Larry Mack.
Well, Glenn, down here in Elliott Sadler's pits, his whole crew has got their fingers crossed for two reasons. Hopefully to win this race, but hoping a caution will not come out. They do not have any more tires to put on under caution. They've been adjusting on that car all day. They finally got it where they want it, but they needed to go green. Matt, what are they saying about Kevin LePage?
Kevin LePage, Larry Mack, is in the same boat. They do not need a yellow because they, too, are out of tires. He's dropped back to second place, about a 10th out of the lead. Right now, he's conserving his tires for a final 20-lap shootout because he knows he does not want to abuse those tires now and not have anything left for the finish.
Kevin LePage on the racetrack. Here's your leader, the Trop Arctic Chevrolet, the 66 of Elliott Sadler. 20 to go. He's got about a second lead on LePage with Grubb in third. We'll be back to take you to the checkered flag in a moment. Carolina Speedway, your leader, the 66 Elliott Sadler, the 37 car not on the lead lap. Glenn Allen not on the lead lap either in the 99. Elliott Sadler with almost a 2-second advantage over Kevin LePage. And you've heard our pit reporters talk about how none of the guys up front want to see a caution here in the late going. 14 laps remaining, and Kevin LePage has to try to track him down.
Nobody may want to see a caution, but I have seen 10 in the last 5 laps.
They just didn't wave the yellow flag,
They just didn't make it quite all the way to the finish.
And that shot told you one reason that they're getting so very close to getting in turn one. Getting down into turn one now, you have the sun directly into very, very bad conditions on the windshield of the cars. You could see you couldn't see a thing out of the windshield as they headed into turn one.
Yeah, that's where Trickle pulled that covering off his windshield a little earlier, and I'm sure these other guys would like to have been able to do that too if they could get back in the pits.
Elliott Sadler has quietly put together a very strong season. He's only won once this year, back in the spring at Bristol, but he's got 9 top 10s and he's 6th in series points.
He's doing a great job, but you know who else is doing? We had to call his name all day. We've been talking about Sadler, all right, but how about old Hermie?
Yeah.
Hermie's third.
Another driver who is looking for a different situation come 1999 in the DeWalt Tools number 29. Mark Green in the 37 had early problems. He's just as quick as the leader, maybe quicker because he's going to whistle by and get one more lap back.
And Hank Parker Jr., I mean, that's the fish car. Look at that. He's up there in 6th place. And he's led this race, so it's not a fluke. I mean, it's not like he doesn't deserve to be there.
11 to go. This is a battle for position for 15th spot. Robert Presley in the 59 just getting by Glenn Allen. There's your leader coming through the main straightaway, the 66 of Elliott Sadler. We'll take you back to the 29. There's Hermie Sadler sitting third. So the Sadler brothers, not the car-owning Sadler brothers, having a great day here today.
Yeah, and you know something else amazing to me, and Buddy alluded to it a minute ago. Bobby Hillen's been in 2 wrecks. Blew a tire here on the front, spun down there, got the car all torn up. Where's he at, buddy?
He's in the top 10
He's
right
running
now.
8th right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's done everything he can to tear that car up today.
It has been a wonderful afternoon for Hillen in terms of the likely result. He's going to score here.
I think that's intimidation myself. He knows Mark McGuire's down there, and he better get that car home.
The Mac Attack Clean Shower Chevrolet that Bobby Hillen steers. Mark McGuire involved in that team. He put in an appearance here at the racetrack earlier today. Less than 10 to go, and Elliott Sadler building his lead now.
What he's doing right now, you see him just going around this racetrack now. He's running the racetrack and nobody else. In the middle, he has nobody that close to him to make him get offline. And a good race car driver, that's when he's his best, when he has to run the racetrack and not other people.
It's what we call slow down and go faster. You start slowing down, you start letting off a little early, get back on the throttle, and all of a sudden the crew says, man, to back it down a little bit, slow it down. He said, man, I am. I'm backing off the flag stands. You slow down, you go faster.
Elliott Sadler will come down to the start-finish line. Put lap number 190 on the board. 7 remaining. Phillips 66 Chevrolet, and he is a young driver. We've talked about young guns today, and all the focus has been on Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Matt Kenseth, but this guy's going to have himself a great career.
Well, while we're talking about that, before we get down on the last little bit, Earnhardt is increasing his lead, though, over Matt Kenseth, because Kenseth is 2 laps down, Earnhardt on the tail end of the lead lap in 14.
Matt Kenseth right now being shown back in 26th. Indeed, 2 laps down, maybe 3 before this one is over.
And by the way, Has anybody seen Tony Stewart lately?
They say he's still out there. I don't know. It has not been a good afternoon. Stewart is 18th right now.
I don't understand it. It's kind of interesting to me. The same thing happened to him in Charlotte, and the car went away on him all at once and just backed up from there on. And happened to him again today, leading the race, got it crossed up, and the next thing you know, he's going backwards. But that tells me he's learning. He's getting some good experience because I've seen him do that before and wreck it. So I think he is learning.
Well, you have to think of the Wood brothers sitting over there watching their driver for next year in the 66 car have to be very proud of the job he's done today.
Yeah, I think you're right, buddy. He is. He's going to do good with them.
There is Matt Kenseth, second in series points, 3 Busch Series wins in his career, all 3 this season, including the spring race, the February race here at the Rock. 5 laps to go for your leader, the 66 of Elliott Sadler. The Virginia-based driver, nice and smooth up onto the back straightaway. All by himself. Step 3, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in his gun sights at the moment.
Look how well that car goes through the corner.
Yeah.
Right on the white line, you see a straight line up out of the corner. He's doing everything right at the moment.
Just don't look back. That's all I can tell you. Because there's as they say, there's a gaggle of cars back here that don't look too good.
Kevin LePage riding in second spot. We thought LePage might have the right combination here today, but just hasn't fallen his way in the last 30 or 40 laps.
No, but he's done a great job, Rick. When you think about he's injured. A torn rotator cuff is a hard injury to deal with for a race car driver, and he's injured, and he's got that TENS unit on him, and he's going to bring it home in good shape.
There is LePage riding in second spot. Hermie Sadler in the 29 is third. We take you on board with Kevin LePage. Planning to go the full 400 miles here tomorrow at the Rock. Our live coverage of the ACDelco 400 on TNN Motorsports. We'll be on the air with race day tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern to set things up for you. Pre-race coverage starts at noon Eastern time tomorrow, and then race coverage at 12:30 Eastern time, so we hope you can join us. 77 of Ed Barrier apparently brushed the wall a moment ago. Barrier being shown pretty far back in the pack here today. Ed Barrier back in 26th spot. White flag waving over the leader, Elliott Sadler. He is on the back straightaway, coming around for the final time here today. If you'd gone through the list of likely winners here this afternoon, not too many people would have given you Elliott Sadler's name, but he has done a great job as he comes out of turn number 4 from 19th starting spot. His second win of 1998. Elliott Sadler is the winner in the Diamond Ridge Chevrolet, the Phillips 66 car. Sadler is your winner. LePage is second. Sadler, Hermie is third. Kevin Grubb and Philip Morris, your top 5 here today.
Yay, Philip Morris. Great job for a rookie driver. And trust me, he drove a lot more laps than anybody else.
And Bobby Hillin involved in 2 wrecks today and coming out in 8th place. That's great.
We've had some surprising finishes here today, and of course the winner's one of them. What a deal.
Sure have. Let's get the thoughts of Elliott Sadler's crew chief downstairs, Larry McReynolds.
Well, Rick, this is one happy crew. Sandy, maybe you didn't have the car to beat at the beginning, but how about that pit strategy?
Well, everything just played into our hands today. We made some adjustments, had to work all day. This Phillips 66 crew did a heck of a job all day long. Elliott drove his heart out, and I'm speechless. I really am.
Well, gang, you can tell this is one happy crew, and as a fellow crew chief, that was some awesome strategy.
Great calls by Sandy Jones getting Elliott Sadler to victory lane.
It really was, and he's down here. He is lost.
Now you can go down there and give him the road map. You know
come
your
on,
way to victory
come on
lane.
down here, son. He's all excited, I'm sure. No, great call in the pits. I think Larry and I agreed that there was a point in the race where guys stayed out and they shouldn't have, and I think that was the difference in the show. And what a wonderful race. I've had a good time up here today. I love that side-by-side high line racing.
Elliott Sadler still looking for the right way. Darrell Waltrip, thanks so much for being with us today. Good luck tomorrow in the Tabasco Pontiac. Larry McReynolds, good luck to you and your team, the Lowe's Chevrolet. We'll be back with more from The Rock in a moment.
Out of his car in the victory lane, and he gets a Busch beer party, and I'm moving out of the way because I don't want to be a part of this party. Oh, man. All right, high fives all around. And he's trashed the top of the car. First thing you want to know is, I guess nobody told you how to get to victory lane once you won the race, did they?
No, I never been in a victory lane. I kept asking guys, where's victory lane? And they wouldn't tell me, but this is the most emotional win I've ever had. I started crying about 3 laps ago because these guys have been working so hard all year, and we just haven't been to victory lanes many times as last year. But the guys stuck behind me. Phillips 66 stuck behind me, and sure I'm sad to lead these guys this year, but I'm just glad. I wanted to get them one more win before this year was over with, and we got 2 more to go after this one. We found some stuff out yesterday I think will help us here for the rest of the year.
Well, the car was awfully good in the last half of the race, but it had to be a comfort knowing that Sandy made the right call when you guys came in and got tires, and hardly anybody else did.
Exactly right. I think that was the call to make, that gave us the win. We were so badly loose there for a while. I said, we got to come in and get tires, and we did. And I was praying. I said, look, good Lord, just give us some more green flag runs, try to get these guys in some bad situations. And it did. We were able to make it to victory lane. And never thought I'd come here. I've always qualified well here, but I always struggled during the race. But the Lord was with us today, and we were able to come away with the win.
Brother Hermie came home third. Pretty good day for the Sadlers all the way around.
That's an awesome day for the Sadlers. That means all cars will be on sale at Sadler Chevrolet this week.
I guess Hermie will have to make that decision. Let's go to Matt.
Well, I've caught up with Kevin LePage. An outstanding performance, a good second-place finish for you.
Yeah, Matt, we weren't a second-place race car. We were probably a 5th or 8th, somewhere in that range. But during that early stages, about 80 laps, I guess 60 laps, something like that, the car was going backwards, Channel Lock Chevy, and Rich Lashley made a great call to come in under that one yellow and get some tires and make major adjustments, put some spring rubbers in there, took some wedge, and just we had to do something because we were going to go backwards. And all we were hoping is that we get a long green, and fortunate enough for us, the Channel Lock Chevrolet got a good long green and put a lot of good cars down, and we just didn't have enough there at the end for Elliott. But I tell you, I've been out of this car for a few weeks, and to come back and run second here at the Rock, just can't say enough for Channel Lock, T&L Motors. The Prime Star guys came over and pitted my car today, and I got to say thanks to them too.
What did you learn today that you can put forth till tomorrow, because you run the same tires?
That sun's awful bright right there. Windshield got real bad. We were pitted up, but it's just we played a lot with air pressure. Rockingham's going to wear the tires out real quick, and we just got to be patient and save the car, but save the tires. But again, there's a lot of different grooves out there. I found the bottom, I found the middle, I found the top, so I think we can apply that tomorrow with a Prime Star Taurus.
Well, tomorrow and find victory lane, guys.
Kevin LePage with a very, very strong run. Led several laps in this one. Comes home second today behind your winner, Elliott Sadler. Folks enjoying Halloween weekend at the Rock. We are too. We've got a lot more to bring you this afternoon. At North Carolina Speedway, Elliott Sadler your winner. Kevin LePage and brother Hermie Sadler finishes third. Kevin Grubb with a great run to fourth from 26th starting spot today. And rookie Philip Morris, who qualified 12th, comes home fifth. He led for a brief time. And how about Hank Parker Jr. in 6th position, his first career top 10. 7th to Mike Dillon. Bobby Hillin with a couple of trips into the wall comes back and finishes 8th. Tim Fedua, who also got in the wall early on, finishes 9th. Curtis Markham, who started the 64, gave way to Dick Trickle. They came from 40th to 10th. Trickle led several laps in the mid-portions of this race. And Buddy Baker, as we talked about during the course of the event, a lot of these drivers and teams did great jobs to stay up front or to get back up front. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Let's get the thoughts of the third-place finisher today, Matt Yoakum.
Well, Rick, Elliott went to victory lane. I think daughter Cora wins the best costume in Herminator. You come home third. Outstanding performance, 33rd to 3rd.
Yeah, we had a good day. We had little things fall in place today for us, and golly, hadn't had much for us this year, but a great day for Diamond Ridge, 1st and 3rd, and a great day for Phillips and DeWalt and Peebles and Chevrolet. Good. I got to get all these in because I didn't have a chance to talk about them this year, but hopefully this will give Gary and those guys at Diamond Ridge some momentum to help get them a sponsor for next year, and give me some momentum as I head over to the 72 car. Just a great day, and if little things go right, it can happen.
I heard it could be a big Monday for the Sadler Auto Dealerships. Your brother said you can have a huge sale.
That's what I heard. Bring them on. As long as he's there to help me take care of everybody and pay me back for the money I lose, I'm all for it. I hope everybody shows up on Monday. We'll be there.
1st and 3rd for the Sadlers. Rick?
Great job for both members of that team today. And Hermie Sadler and his daughter there certainly enjoying things. Tough day, though, for some of the point contenders. One of the drivers, second in points, won here back in the spring. Tough day for Matt Kenseth. Let's go back downstairs.
It certainly was, Rick. And Matt and I were just standing here counting about how many points it would be, and we decided it was how many?
Too many.
Yeah, too many. Just a tough day all the way around. Just, it started yesterday, I guess, with the crash in Happy Hour, and from there on, things went downhill.
Yeah, that really killed us, and then I'm not sure how, but, we just missed the setup by, a mile. We didn't miss by a little bit. We missed by a mile. And, it's as bad as we've been since loading. Since you were going to hit my crew chief with a hammer, that's as bad as we've been. So, it's my fault. I really thought we had what we needed in the car this morning, and I kind of really lobbied hard to make some changes and just really, really missed the setup. Probably should have left it, a little bit more how Robbie wanted it, and wasn't very good. And then we just, didn't pit at the right time. Should have pitted with all the rest of them guys and would have had a chance at a decent finish. But with the car not being very good, and then it would, it'd wear out new tires even faster. So just the way it was.
But next week in Atlanta, you guys probably go there with a little fire in your eyes, try to make up for a week like this.
Yeah, I don't know. This makes you appreciate the good weekends. We had a real hard weekend ever since we've been here. The only thing that went right was qualifying. So just going to forget it and go home and go to Atlanta next week.
That's all he can do, Matt. Thanks for being with us. Best of luck to you next week. Let's go back up top. Rick Benjamin.
Well, some points lost today by Matt Kenseth, who finishes 27th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes home in 14th. So the gap grows about 146 points now with 2 races remaining. Kenseth not out of the game quite yet. Check out our webpage, www.country.com, your personal source for all things country, race cars to country stars. And weekly race day commentary is there too. Dial us up at country.com. Fans sticking around, of course, to see the final practice session for tomorrow's ACDelco 400 coming your way live here on TNN Motorsports. Check out NASCAR online before, during, and after the race at www.nascar.com, your 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass. As Victory Lane ceremonies continue here at The Rock for today's Busch Grand National event, a reminder, NASCAR Thunder race into the all-new official store of NASCAR. NASCAR Thunder is now open in cities everywhere. Locations and information at 615-883-7000, Monday through Friday. Well, he's still leading the points. In fact, he added to his point lead. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, that's exactly right, Rick. And Dale, we talked about this at the top of the show. This might be an opportunity for you to pad that points lead. You did that. You gained 44 points, but this ain't the way you wanted it to happen, is it?
Well, it's hard to not come out of here with a smile on your face because it's been a long time since this team's been competitive at Rockingham. So, we worked on the car real hard this weekend and got a good driving, good, comfortable car, and it seemed to take us wherever we wanted to go. It's a tough old racetrack, even if your car is hooked up, you still have to be on top of your game, and we're trying to do the best we can. It's a shame that Matt had trouble in the, practice yesterday, and I hate that's the way it's going to go down, but I'd rather race him, door to door on the racetrack for that championship. It's a little misfortune, but, we could have had a top 5 finish, and then we got stuck in the pits under green flag stop, and I had a caution, got a lap down. So, we had a top 5 car, if not a race-winning car. I'm not sure about, Burton was pretty strong there at the end. Last set of tires went away on me a little bit, but it's a good day for ACDelco and Food City and all the sponsors on board. Coca-Cola and Burger King, we're real happy, just come out here and gain a little points.
Well, you did that. You got a 146-point lead now next week going into Atlanta, a racetrack that it's awfully fast. You haven't had a lot of experience, a lot of time on that racetrack. How are you going to approach that race?
Well, we went and tested there, and from what I hear, we're pretty good. So, you look for the ACDelco car to be up front next week, too.
Okay, good, strong performance today. He got caught with those after making that green flag stop. Not a lot he can do, but he'll be back next week. Here's Matt.
A stellar run, Glenn, also by Kevin Grubb. First off, a bad set of tires actually proved to be lucky for you.
I'll tell you what, you never know how it's going to end up. We started the race and, like I said, had a bad set of tires, and we thought it was going to be downhill from there, to tell you the truth, because it's kind of hard to pass out here at Rockingham, but it ended up to work our way. Bobby King, crew chief, he did a great job. Great pit strategy. He got me out front, and we stayed out front. And, just can't say enough for the whole Grubb Motorsports team. They do a great job every week. We're getting better and better. I think that's our second top 5, and I believe it's 3 races. I'm as happy as I can get. Like I say, happy Halloween to everybody, and thank Curb Records, and basically just looking forward to the next race. We're on a roll here and want to keep it going.
What does this roll do for you guys? You've struggled earlier in the year. You had a second at Dover, nearly won. You come out of here with a 4th place.
I'll tell you, we've had great cars all year. We've been qualifying the top 5. We've run in the front the whole race, and just had bad luck at the very end. And that's been our main downfall, is having that bad luck at the end. Today we didn't get it, and we ended up with another top 5.
Well, Rick, also another Virginian in the top 5 today.
Great day for the Grubb Motorsports team, and our congratulations to Kevin Grubb. Beautiful afternoon here. There is DW jumping out of the booth into his uniform, getting ready to practice the Tabasco Pontiac before tomorrow's 400 Motorsports. Saturday afternoon, not at all. Tomorrow, we're back on the air, 11:30 Eastern with Race Day. We'll preview the ACDelco 400 for the NASCAR Winston Cup cars. The NHRA Winston Drag Racing Pros are in Houston, wrapping up their season. The World Driving Championship at stake this weekend, too, in Japan. And the kart season winds down in Fontana, California. We'll preview all of that action for you tomorrow on Race Day, 11:30 Eastern Time. Hope you can join us. Our live coverage from Rockingham kicks off at noon tomorrow with our pre-race coverage. And then the ACDelco 400 live here on TNN Motorsports tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time. Pre-race at 12. Take the green flag a little after 12:30. And that sets us up for NHRA action, too, tomorrow afternoon live from Houston. So a full day. Plan your day around us here at TNN Motorsports. Talk about Darrell Waltrip peeling off his TNN Motorsports garb and jumping into the race car. Larry McReynolds doing the same, going up on the hauler to talk to his driver, Mike Skinner, who is practicing the Lowe's Chevrolet. They've had a good weekend so far. They won the Union 76 pit crew competition a little while earlier, buddy.
$46,000 richer the crew is, and you see Larry Mack giving him lap times. Every time he comes by, he keys the radio and says that was 2360 or 2370. He's just letting him know if he moves the groove a little bit, what'll be good tomorrow.
Well, Mike Skinner, Larry's driver, will line up 28th tomorrow in the Lowe's Chevrolet, but they have been very, very strong in the latter part of this season, and I'll bet you that they will be in contention before the checkered flag falls. Let's go back downstairs. Glenn Jarrett.
Hey, remember Darrell Waltrip talking about the fish car? This guy drives the fish car right here. That BASS stands for Bass Anglers Sportsman Society. Hank Parker Jr., 6th place. Man, that had to be a lot of fun.
It was a blast. We had good pitch strategy all day. The car was a little tight. We elected to stay out when everybody came in on the first caution. We stayed out and it really worked out in our hands. I really got to thank Dave McCarty and Barry Dodson. They did a great job today in the pits. I want to thank Bill Amick for their motors. We had some awesome horsepower today.
Well, you can tell this guy was really happy. I see his dad, Hank Sr., over there. He's got a big smile on his face. Smiles all around in the Parker household today. Go catch some fish, man.
Well, we caught up with Adam Petty. Adam, the Persistence Award would have to go to you. Lap 4, engine trouble. You almost make it to the finish. But what about next year? I know things are looking up for you.
I'll tell you what, we've had nothing but engine trouble this year. We had it at St. Louis and we had it here. You know, I thought we'd have a good race car, but yeah, the good Lord wasn't willing with us today. But, you know, I don't know what we're going to do next year. We got, you know, we'll definitely be in bush racing. I don't know what the sponsor is. I don't know what car we're going to, but we'll definitely be here and see if we can run with these guys next year.
Well, he definitely has that Petty smile, even with a finish outside of the top 25. Rick?
Motor problems today for Adam Petty, but a young driver of whom much is expected, of course, in the months and years to come. Great afternoon here at Rockingham. We've got more to tell you about Elliott Sadler's second win of the 1998 Busch Series season. Victory lane for the second time here in 1998. We'll show you how they finished here today. Kevin LePage, we talked to him, fought through the pain of that arm injury, shoulder injury, comes home second. Hermie Sadler, Kevin Grubb, and Philip Morris from Virginia, your top 5. Hank Parker Jr. and Mike Dillon. We look at the second 10. There's Mark Martin. Todd Bodine, Buddy Baker, was up front several times. Never could quite get to the lead group, though.
I think just tire management and making bad pit stops at the wrong time. He certainly had a fast car.
Tony Stewart back there as well did not have a good afternoon after the first green flag run. David Green comes home in 21st spot. Jason Keller, who was up front for a while as well, as you get a look at the third group of 10. Ken Schrader was up front for a good long time before falling back. And we take a look at 31st through 40th. Petty Moise fought through a spin. There's Adam Petty in 38th with that motor problem. Bobby Hamilton Jr., a lot of people think he is going to be the real thing in the next couple of years.
Oh, I'm definitely, I believe that. He's got his father helping him a lot as far as setups and all, and a good young man, going to be a great star, I think.
Very good in the ARCA Series. He's made a couple of starts there. This was his first effort in the Busch Series. Ran up front for a while as well. This was an unusual race because you had so many cautions and some drivers taking tires while others didn't. It jumbled the field several times, but Bobby looked quite good today. We'll be back. Our coverage, Carolina Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series. The ACDelco 200 complete. Elliott Sadler, your winner. Coming up tomorrow, the Winston Cup Stars live on TNN Motorsports. The ACDelco 400, the chase for the title tomorrow. Jeff Gordon needs to finish 40th or better tomorrow to lock up his third championship in 4 seasons. The title battle of the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series considerably tighter, although Dale Earnhardt Jr. did gain some ground today on Matt Kenseth. Earnhardt Jr. finishes 14th. There you see the gap. Matt Kenseth 146 back. Dale Jr. needs to average a 17th place finish in the final 2 races to lock up the title. Mike McLaughlin and Randy LaJoie, your top 4. Mike Dillon sits 11th in points, and he and Glenn Allen are just about nose to nose. So that's one that certainly could change for 13th. Mark Green has a chance to gain a spot there. Jeff Purvis not very far behind. Really, you've got 4 or 5 drivers in that 13th back to 16th spot. You've got 4 drivers there, certainly within about 45 points of one another. Shane Hall, Joe Bessie very close in points as well. So a lot of money at stake, Buddy Baker, a lot of prestige for these drivers with Atlanta and Homestead still to come.
Well, like you say, there's 2 races to go, and there's a lot of points up, so these guys are not out of it. Certainly, I think the first and second and third place cars are pretty well out there, where right now that's going to determine who's going to be the champion. But even back, hey, listen, it's a proud day when you can say I finished in the top 20 in any division in NASCAR.
Mark Martin on the racetrack in his Winston Cup car. Martin so strong here at Rockingham. Didn't have the day he wanted to in the NASCAR Busch Series today, but he's certainly going to be a guy to watch tomorrow.
You see the glare on the windshield as Mark Martin goes down into turn 1 there. That is very distracting late in the afternoon, so a thing we'll probably be talking about tomorrow. Down the back straightaway, you see Mark Martin's hands very still as he starts into turn 3, right down on the white line, picking the throttle back up very gingerly, not abusing the tires in the center part of the corner.
We're watching the speed charts here in happy hour practice. Martin, the second fastest time so far this afternoon. He's run the lap of 150.4 miles an hour as team owner Jack Roush watches his 5 cars run their final practice sessions. Dale Earnhardt on the racetrack as well. Might have a good shot tomorrow. Won't start too far toward the front, but always strong here at Rockingham. I want to thank the folks at Circuit City for providing our aerial platform today. Our views from high atop North Carolina Speedway. Circuit City is the official electronics and appliance store of NASCAR. And our onboard communications today, as always, courtesy of Racing Radios, as we watch the 99 of Jeff Burton roll down into turn 1. It was a wild afternoon here in the NASCAR Busch Series. Mike McLaughlin among the drivers getting into the wall. Bobby Hillin twice in the fence and comes home with the top 10.
Absolutely, and you can see there was some close racing today and some people that didn't quite make it through it. Joe Bessie there in the 6th got a lot of damage to his car. Patty Mulvey spin.
We saw that move. You talked about it. Elliott Sadler, rather, diving to the inside of Patty Moise when she made that spin. He went on to victory lane.
Let me tell you, it's a game of inches. I guarantee you out there. You can see right there, Robert Presley gets in the back of Grubbs as they start off the corner. Nearly a wreck. And, hey, I'm back here.
Young Phil Morris with a great job today to come home 5th in his first career NASCAR Busch Series start today. I want to thank Larry McReynolds, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum on pit road, Buddy Baker and Darrell Waltrip up topside. I'm Rick Benjamin. Our congratulations to Elliott Sadler, the winner of the ACDelco 200. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern on race day. Our coverage of the ACDelco 400 at 12:30 Eastern. So long, everybody.